Welcome to the Ljubljana podcast, the place to come for travel and food tips, cultural highlights, insider stories, and chats with locals. It's everything you need to know about Slovenia's beloved capital city. I'm your host, Slovenia's ambassador of tourism, Noah Charney. Let's fire it up. You're listening to the Ljubljana podcast, where we explore the stories, flavors, and characters that make Slovenia's capital one of Europe's most surprising small cities. Today we're talking about one of Ljubljana's greatest success stories, one that started as a local food event and became a national movement. If you've ever wandered through the central market on a sunny Friday, following the smell of sizzling meat, truffles, and freshly baked burek, well, you've already found it. Odprta Kuhna, or Open Kitchen. Odprta Kuhna is the brainchild of Lior Kochavy, an expat entrepreneur with a passion for bringing people together through food. When it first opened back in 2013, the idea was simple but radical for Ljubljana at the time. Invite chefs from top restaurants, local food producers, and adventurous home cooks to bring their best dishes to the open air of the city center. Turn the market square into a weekly culinary festival. And that's exactly what happened. What began with a handful of stands quickly turned into a Friday tradition, half street party, half gourmet fare. So tell me how Odprta Kuhna got started.
Odprta Kuhna got started simply from me being hungry and from my lack of capability in cooking in the kitchen back then. Today it's a different story. Complimenting myself here, but I moved to Slovenia 17 years ago, and in my ex-wife, she used to travel a lot to business trip to Italy. And I found myself many times for 3-4 weeks every 3 months alone in Ljubljana, in Slovenia in general. And because I wasn't really good in the kitchen, I just started traveling around, trying new things, trying new places, taking the car, driving outside of the city, and getting to know Slovenia through its views, but also through its food. And very quickly I realized that the diversity here in such a small, relatively small country, and such a huge variety of landscapes, and bordering countries and seasons, it created a very unique type of cuisine, kind of a melting pot between Eastern Europe and Western Europe, got from the sea to the mountains, very distinguished for seasons. And I noticed that I go from one part to another of Slovenia, I'm coming across completely different food. And when I go back to that region that I like the food, I might see something completely different 3 or 4 months later. And as a city boy, this was like stunning for me. And I started to be more and more interested learning and understanding the cuisine over here. And one time I was walking in the city, thinking, where am I going to drive next and where I'm going to go to eat next? And I was walking next to the market and on Pogačar, and I saw it was a bit sad and a bit empty, with many stands spread at the square. And I just thought, this is so, I wish it could be something more happening. This is a very nice place, nice square. By the end of the day, after a shower and scratching my head, I came up with the idea, why don't I bring, instead of me driving every time to a different restaurant, why don't I just bring everybody here into the capital? It's not so far, and they can present their food. And so started the story of Odprta Kuhna. I went and knocked on the Mr. Mayor's door, and Zoran Jankovic explained to him presented the idea, and we got the green light. Yeah. Long story short, 13 years later, we have fed more than, 5 million visitors. We are averaging 22 to 24,000 visitors every Friday, and we help to put Slovenia on the gastronomic map.
Did it take any convincing, or were people enthusiastic immediately, the first iteration?
It is divided to two, the restaurants or the visitors. Okay. So the restaurants at the beginning, of course, could not understand what are we talking about. Like, what do you mean that I am with my type of cuisine? How can I come to the market, to the street? I'm very traditional and I'm used to work only for my restaurant. Some of them just heard English, a speaker on the other side, and got like little bit, cold feet. So I wrote made up a sentence. Hi, my name is Lior, and we are creating the biggest culinary project in Slovenia. We think a restaurant like you represent should be a part of it, or at least know about it. And this opened the ears on the other side. And we started to explain slowly and to present the people the vision and the project. It took some time, but 3.5 months later, we started the first ever edition. And then people got the idea. The first event was completely horrible. It was horrible. We were washed by the rain very quickly. At 1:00 we had to close, but we did notice a couple of things. First of all, we chose the right concept. We have the right restaurants. We have the right location. And once I saw on this day and lunchtime, I already saw 300, 400, 500 people. I knew that we did it. Mm-hmm. And I knew that it's only a matter of now being persistent and push and just all the time look on the next event.
Was this a learning curve for you too, how to organize a major event like this? Or did you already do that in a professional capacity? Because it's a lot to coordinate, I imagine. I
had some experience in the past from working in the north of Israel. I was event manager over there, but it's nothing comparing to this. This was more about arranging security, arranging the band, fix the stage, let the show, let it roll. Here it's to manage restaurants, each one with their menus, each one with their needs, and we are working here with people. It's not a stage and it's not a lift. We are working here with people. Somebody can cut his finger. Somebody has a bad day. Somebody in the restaurant that needs more help. Somebody maybe he has an amazing cuisine and amazing food, and we know that he's going to be great, but he's new and people still don't know him. And we look at them, each one not as a client. They're called here in the office. They're called partners. As far as they're partners in the project. Coordinate everything with the city, coordinate and make sure that the visitor experience is constantly positive. It is a lot of work, but the pleasure that it brings is worth every second. Seeing smiling visitors, smiling faces, seeing people every Friday taking out their phones and doing selfies or doing videos, or seeing people who actually, it's the first time that they are there, whether they are tourists or even some locals. To see, you can recognize the person who is first time there. From far away. You see the eyes opening, you see the realization of, this is not what I expected. This moment, or to see the same visitors coming every Friday. This is for us the biggest victory. So it's worth it. It's constant motivation for this and to help the culinary and the gastronomic scene push forward in Slovenia.
I'm often asked where I recommend staying in Ljubljana. My answer is easy: Hotel Mrak. Hotel Mrak is my home away from home in Slovenia's capital. It's a family-run, elegant boutique hotel with a perfect location, right in the pedestrian-friendly heart of the city. You can easily walk anywhere from Hotel Mrak. Like me, it's got an artsy vibe, and it also has an epically good breakfast that is worth a journey. Take a look for yourself at hotelmrak.si. That's hotelmrak.si. So what can you expect if you visit? Well, from May through October, every Friday, weather permitting, the square beside Ljubljana's central market transforms into a feast for all senses. You can try žlikrofi from Idrija, cooked by grandmothers who still make them by hand. Sushi from the team at Tokyo Picnic. Delicate Persian stews from Gostilna Mahorčič. Ramen from pop-up favorite Maru, wood-fired pizza, Balkan grilled meats, and if you're lucky, Slovenian craft beer ice cream? That's right. The joy of it is that the lineup constantly changes. You might find Michelin-listed chefs cooking side by side with street food newcomers, all serving dishes that cost less than a sit-down meal. It's a democratization of fine dining and a celebration of Slovenia's extraordinary culinary diversity. But the spirit of Odprta Kuhna didn't stop in Ljubljana. Its success has inspired sister editions across the country, from Maribor and Celje to Novogorica, Koper, and Ptuj. Each city adds its own twist: coastal seafood in Koper, wine pairings in Maribor, a stronger Mediterranean feel in Novogorica. The concept works anywhere people love good food and good company, which, as it turns out, is everywhere. Some have even suggested that Odprta Kuhna could become a franchise model, a kind of portable Slovenian export blending culinary creativity with social connection. Imagine an open kitchen in Vienna or Prague, a taste of Ljubljana's conviviality shared across borders. So what's it like in practice? Well, to answer this question, I spoke to two open kitchen enthusiasts. First, Sam Baldwin. Sam is a British writer whose book Dormice and Moonshine captures the humor and wonder of life in rural Slovenia. Sam's perspective reminds us of how unique events like Odprta Kuhna look through foreign eyes, how the casual friendliness and the chance to taste a dozen regional dishes in one afternoon can feel magical.
First thing I really like about Open Kitchen in Ljubljana is that it really brings some energy and some atmosphere to the city. You've got all of these food stalls all kind of packed into this little space by the river, and it just brings a lot of people out of the woodwork, I think. It's a really good blend of locals as well as tourists and visitors to the city. And it just brings this energy, this great energy to the centre. Next great thing about it is obviously the food itself. There are dozens of stalls, each serving quite different and quite unique foods. Some of it's Slovenian, there's lots of Slovene classics in there, but also some food from further afield. I've definitely had Iranian food there. I've had Indian food there. I've had Korean food there. So it's just this delicious selection of tasty foods. And you can kind of try some smaller things. You don't have to get a huge amount. You just want to taste a few things before you get a bigger dish. Normally, I would buy a beer and then just wander through the stalls just to see what's on offer first before making a choice. But it's just this brilliant spectrum of food, which on a normal day, you might not be able to get so easily in Ljubljana. Lastly, it's just a great meeting space. Many a time have I arranged to meet friends at the Open Kitchen, and the fact that it's open from quite early until quite late just makes it ideal. You can rock up, have a drink, wander around. I really like they've got all the kind of casual seating in the area. You can sit on these little steps. They've got big trestle tables and benches laid out. It's really well organized. And it's just a great spot to meet people before heading off and seeing the rest of the Ljubljana delights.
Anna Rose Welch, a poet and avid traveler from Erie, Pennsylvania, stumbled upon Odprta Kuhna on a summer trip and fell in love with it. For her, it wasn't just about the food, it was the atmosphere, the music, laughter, the sense that everyone was part of a long, sun-drenched lunch.
I first learned about Open Kitchen when I was researching what to do in Ljubljana. And I'll admit, it was so much up my alley, the thought of being able to wander different stands of foods and alcohols, that I thought, all right, well, I guess I'm going to Ljubljana a couple days early to be able to experience this. My travel arrangements were a bit flexible. So learning that Open Kitchen was actually a thing encouraged me to book my flight for a Thursday night. So I would get there Friday. And honestly, it was the first and only plan that I had for my day when I got to Ljubljana on a Friday. So when I first checked into my hotel, the person at the front desk actually immediately said, well, your room's not ready, but there is this food market. And I said, oh my gosh, I know. This is why I'm here today. I made plans to come here specifically for Open Kitchen. And so what I found was exactly what I was hoping it would be. It was a bustling square full of people, just a surprising number of people, frankly, for a Friday morning. And there were foods from every nation there. If you wanted paella, if you wanted Argentinian meat, if you wanted Japanese pancakes, Thai food, Indian, if you wanted to walk around nursing a glass of wine, there was a stand for you. And so I'm pretty sure I wandered around through the different stalls at least 3 different times before settling on something. I can't even remember the name of it. It was this beautiful fried dough covered in sour cream and cheese. And I bought myself a glass of wine and I just sat in the square and on the steps, and I watched groups of people wandering through families, friends, other tourists. There were so many people there. It was great people watching. There were so many different options that you could have for your main course, for an appetizer, for a dessert. It really had everything. So I would highly encourage anyone interested in seeing what Ljubljana has to offer, who loves to people watch and just sort of be in a place that has really great energy. I would argue that you should absolutely make plans to check out Open Kitchen.
At its heart, Odprta Kuhna is about connection. It's where Ljubljana's chefs, locals, and travelers share not just meals, but moments, where the city's creativity becomes edible. So whether you're visiting Slovenia for the first time or you've lived here for years, make sure that you stop by the Central Market on a Friday from May through October, maybe every Friday. Enjoy the variety, the food, the drink, the convivial company, and let the city feed you. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Ljubljana Podcast. The Ljubljana Podcast is brought to you by Odprta Kuhna, the food festival that rocks Ljubljana's Central Market every Friday, all day and night long, from June through October. This podcast is produced by Urshka Charney and hosted by Noah Charney. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.